Hello everyone, Rudar here with another grounded video. Today's video I'll be going over the base that I built in the Haze, mainly to farm fungal growth after my very successful ant trap that I built. I'll link that in the description below. So right here in front of me I have my catch building, also the links in the description below for that, and my bounce up tower on an adjacent rock, also linked in the description below. But here is the actual building. It's not 100% complete, but the structure is more or less complete. I'll actually build this in creative so you guys see exactly how it's going to look when it's done. But it is basically a 5x5 building, but I have it angled a certain way so the floors come out looking a little bit different. And then there is nothing at the bottom. I've got some mushrooms on the ground. It's baiting in a bunch of weevils, which is bringing in the ants. But that's not the point. So I will go ahead and switch over to creative, and I'm going to build this in a different spot in creative just so you guys can see better, because it is a little difficult to see in the haze. So I'm going to build it in a different location, probably like right back over there behind the rocks where it's nice, flat, clear, open ground, and we'll go from there. So just give me just 1 second. Let me pause, and I'll switch over to creative and get it done. All right, we're back in creative, and before I get to start building, I just want to point out that the issue with bounce webs being on or very near the tops of walls is fixed. They no longer go off repeatedly like an automatic rifle. They now just do the single thing. Just want to point that out real quick. Now we're going to use this area over here where it's nice, flat, open. You know, this space is, basically the perfect spot. So I wanted to get my floors to be angled a certain way. So in order to do that, I had to lay out the angled wall first. I don't know why I keep hitting that button. So we're going to do that. And then because the first wall of the building was laid down at an angle, the floor will also be one laid at as an angle. You can go higher if you want. I mean, this is just how I want to build it. Like I said, it's a 5x5, so that's 22, 3, 4, 5. We're ignoring the construction tape. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Same thing, we'll get the little corner support. 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is the base of the building. Now, an easy way to get up there, bring the material because you can put it in your inventory quite easily, is a bounce web. Now, when I go to lay out this floor, you're going to notice that it's not going to want to square up. It's going to want to do that. And that's exactly what I wanted. Now, if you don't want it to do this way, you want it to be squared up and nice and clean, don't start with an angled wall. Start with some squared off foundations first. But in this particular build, I wanted it to be angled like that for a reason. Oops. Basically, what we're doing is we're building a very small, and when I say very small, I mean very small, little walkway porch type thing on the outside edge. And of course, we're going to fill all this in too. We're going to close it off 100% from the outside. As far as the bottom, the only way up will be from either the corners, or if you have it like I have my building you saw, I have a bridge coming off the rocks to get into it. It didn't take me too long to build it because in the hedge there's a bunch of weed stems. Plus, like I said, I started with the catch building, which I've already said will be linked in the description below. And with the catch building, I could send in all the supplies I needed much faster than going to cut them down and run 7 of them in, because you can't run with 8. You have to wear the gas mask. You could run with 9 if you're using the workers' comp. So, I mean, that's always an option too to help you build a little bit faster. Is to drink a bunch of workers' comps while you're building. You won't have to worry about food because workers' comps also replenishes your hunger, and it'll heal you. So, as well as the +2 on your shoulder. The only thing you will have to worry about is water. So have a bunch of canteens or make a dew collector like one of the first things you do, and that'll take care of the water issue. There it goes again. Alright, so just trying to get the last little bit of the balcony laid down, but of course the floor pieces want to slide out of position right as I go to left click. There we go. So we got our entire floor almost laid down because I've missed these two over here. Now, that's the floor. So the base is, that's it. The base isn't going to get any bigger than this. It'll get a little bit taller, but not much. So we're going to have some window walls. I left the center spot open along every wall. So I did, from the corners, I did 2, and that was it. So from each corner, I went 2 in. I don't know why that put right there. Creative is always fun, trying to get the walls to lay in the right spot. Like I said, we're going to skip that middle spot. So that is the walls. Now we're going to start on the roof. Now this is not going to use the clover roof pieces. It's going to use the corner roof and the interior roof piece. All because I started on an angle. So that's another thing too. If you don't want to do these, you want to do the regular roof piece, you need to start off on the squared up piece. So like I said, if you laid out a bunch of foundations first and then built on top of that, you would not have to worry about the angle of the floor. So I was going around with all of these as far as I can. I can't do the ones over the door piece, the openings, the doorways, I guess, because it's not supported. We'll go now with the roof interior corner. And then we'll come back to that little gap you see right there, and we'll put one more roof piece in. All right, we're almost finished with this, and then we'll start on the fun part, which is the roof, all the little points on the roof. Okay, so each corner right here just has 4 roof corner pieces on it, not the squared ones, the regular ones. We'll do the squared ones in a bit. We're going to do corners at each one, little points on each corner, should I say. We're going to leave the bottom of the roof mostly open to give a different visual effect from inside. Alright, so now we have the 4 corners, now we have to fill the middle. So we're going to grab the little small corner pieces from the floor, and you want to have it sit where just the corner of the point touches right there in that gap. It's hard to see with that thing in the middle of the screen. But right at the point where you have the corner roof piece coming up, the floor then will anchor right onto it. And that's important because you're going to need that to anchor the next stage of the floor, or the roof, I mean. And it's pretty cheap. It's only 2 grass pieces for this. So literally 8 grass pieces is all you need for the roof piece, the roof portion. Now we're gonna go with the cornered roof square. So that was the squared roof corner. Sorry. And we're gonna do 3 of those per. So you're gonna put 1 down on the grass piece, and then 1 to the left, and 1 to the right. I know I did those in reverse order of how I just said it. I'll do another one. We'll do the first one. We'll do the one on the left. We'll do the one on the right. No, we'll do the one on the right, not the one up there. Thank you. We're going to leave the center portion open. So now we have that pretty well set up for the very top. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through, I'm going to grab my windowed stem walls. I'm looking for a very specific spot. I want the center. I'm going to make an X. So judging from that corner, the line that my guy is standing on is the center going that way. And from that wall, this is the center. So that is the exact center of the building right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually build a little X. And we're going to make it three high. Once again, this is all for looks. You don't have to do this. You actually don't even have to go 3 high. 2 high supports the roof. You see right there where it touches. I'm doing 3 high just for more of an aesthetic look for myself. I'm going to drop down as well, because right underneath it, I have another set of them. I had to find the center again. And that is to have light underneath. I'm going to put a bunch of lights on here. We'll get there. Now that we've got some sort of support for up here, we're going to come back with the squared roof corners, and we're just going to set it up like that. And there's your roof. It's very different from any other roof I've built. It's kind of maybe similar to the mushroom roof, but it definitely looks way different. So we'll go back here and take a look at it. So you have a bunch of different little peaks and everything. It's just something different. I was going for something unique, and that's what I got. And then, because, you know, well, before I put the decorations down, you saw me grab the abomination. We'll do that in a second. I'm going to lay out my handrail. At least in the real game, lay out your blueprints first, so that you don't have to worry about these two conflicting with each other. And then I'm going to do handrails pretty much all the way around, including in front of the opening. I don't want to run outside, fall off, and then have to worry about coming back up. It's depending on how high up you put it, depends on how much fall damage you might take. Like this, there's no fall damage. The way I have it set up in my world, there is no fall damage, because I'm right down there. But it is still a little bit of a hassle to get back up there. So I'm going to finish the handrails and then go back and do the other 3 corners to match that one. So it was just an abomination with a light right behind it. More of my corner gargoyles, as I call them. And there'll be a lot more light on the inside too. But that's the basics of the structure. Now we're just going to go in and have some fun with the interior portion. Helps if I turn that on, huh? Alright, so the last gargoyle in place. Now, depending on where your bridge would be coming from, you obviously would not put railings right in front of it. Like if your bridge was coming from that direction, or however you wanted to get in here. Like if you attach this to that rock over there, you would, you know, not have this here. And I'll go ahead and attach it to that rock just so that you can see how I did that too. How that connects like that, I'm not 100% sure, but it does. But yeah, so wherever you're going to put your bridge, you're not going to do the corner pieces for where the bridge would go. So yeah, that gets deleted, but that's okay. So I'm going to do my bridge out this way, and it's just going to go off in this direction. I want it to go straight, so that it comes off in a nice straight symmetrical pattern. Make sure at least the big floor piece is faced the right way. Now this is going to give me problems because I'm too close to that rock, but you can see how I was going with that. I literally, instead of doing a corner piece here and here, I put down regular floor pieces, squares, and then square, corners, square, corners, square, corners, and you just keep going however far out you want it to go and connect it to wherever. You know, you could just go straight off this way if you wanted to go straight to that rock. It's, you know, that's all preference. I just went with a straight one because that's how I showed you guys in the beginning of the video. And then, of course, you know, we have to do handrails, which one of my viewers, Shira, I'm going to keep messing with you, Shira. Handrails are almost like the bane of her existence. She does not like to use them. Got a message to Shira. Alright, so now this is where we're going to put our armor dummies. And we're having a little fun with these once I get them all set up. Armor dummies, more for not even storing armor, but for the utility that I'm going to show you that you can use with them. So let's get some lights put in here. That light goes right up there. I try to put the center knot on the thing, right on the center knot of the light, right on the opening of that weed stem right there. Now this, in my world, is going to be a very, very bright area because I'm going to literally put lights all over it. Is this overkill? Yes. But this is personal preference of mine. You obviously can put however many lights you want in your world. Now turn them all on. I mean, first person for this because a little more precise getting the lights all turned on than third person. There you go. So, like I said, it's not going to be super, super bright right here. You'll see as it gets darker. But also, I'm going to put at least 4 weapon racks here. And the weapon racks are for repair tools. Because little exploity boys, if they see you, the infected weevils, they won't charge you. They will charge a nearby structure. Kind of annoying, but it is what it is. So I put my workbench, I picked a corner, and I put a workbench in it. And then next to the workbench, I put a bunch of boxes. Started over here at the corner. Try to make sure they were going in a straight line. Sorry, the doorway, not the corner. And if you space them correctly, you can put 4. So you can put 8 over here by the steel. Over here in this corner because you're going to need water pretty much everywhere. What in the world? Alright, so I just got 2 of these in my thing. I don't know why it's doing that. That's weird. I'll take that. And then right in the middle of it, right in the middle of the 2 is where I put the 1 water tank. I push it back as far as it would go before it flipped upside down. You can still get around them to get to the water. You can put the water in this way, but you have to bring it off the wall some because they need 2 stories high to get that water to fit in there. Over here is where I have the bed. I haven't decided if I'm putting anything else next to it yet. I might put a table or something, you know, some decorations. Go ahead and put the rest of the lights in the building real quick. So I use the knots on the wood right there. You see that little knot on the wood right next to the thing? I was using that as my height kind of measurement. Trying to keep them all the same height. Not always easy to do when you can't see. That's close. You can't see the blueprint through it. The real game, you can see the blueprint, makes it a little bit easier to line them up correctly. Alright, just gonna keep going around. Luckily, there's a bunch of dry grass right near this build, so I don't have to worry about going to get that aspect of it. And I have a base right next to the little sprig forest, and also it's the same base is also right by a bunch of sap because it's on the fallen oak branch. That's my canopy base. I'll link that in the description below. Let's see, we're almost done with the lights. I'm gonna do this side. Okay, let's turn them all on. This should make it pretty bright in here. Let's get out of first person. Man, those are not even close to the same height. But with the blueprints, it's easier to tell if it's the same height or not because you can see the blueprint through the wall when you're standing that close to it. So it's a little bit easier to judge height with the blueprints before you go around and complete them. Some of them I got pretty close. Some of them are way off. It's all good. Now this corner over here will probably have a lot more boxes. So we're going to go over what I plan on putting in the boxes too in this video. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and line this corner of the box. I'm waiting for it to get dark before I do the last bit of the armor dummies. I probably will put an armor dummy right next to the bed as well. Or at least a box at the end of the armor dummy. No, that's what I'll do. I'll put a box at the end of the bed. And what will be in there will be just gas masks. Lots of gas masks. Because the floor is angled, you see the boxes are being a little tricky. But a little patience and they will line up correctly. See, that one needs to come forward now. Get rid of that one. So working on the angled floor, a little bit different. A little bit more different than anything I've worked on before. Now what we're gonna do is, if you've killed enough fireflies already, you can make a bunch of these mining hats. They call them firefly headlamps. I call them a mining hat. So make 4 of them. This is all for a visual effect, obviously, because that's how I want to do it. You see, it lights up the doorways. So from the outside, that actually looks pretty cool. So it's very well lit once you have everything built. Mine, like I said, mine is not 100% built yet. So you can have different ways to get in. You can have a bridge. You can do bounce webs at the corners and just bounce up here and up you go. You can do stairs. It's up to you. But you can see it's actually not that bright here in the center, even though you have, what, 20 lights? But it's all about the look. And then craft tools. Man, if it was only this easy to make them in the real game. The reason I'm putting a bunch of these in this base is because of exploding weevils. There's even one on my catch building in the real game, and there will be one on my tower as well, because an exploding weevil spawns on the rock by each one of those. But you can see, yes, I am near that light, but it's still, without that light, I'm still quite bright in here. And that is the basics of this build. It's very simple, very quick. Alright, so over here next to the workbench, I'm going to have boxes of ant eggs, because my ant trap building, which is linked in the description below, has produced for me almost 4 full boxes in 3 real-life days. Also with me playing quite a bit. Then I'll have dry grass and fungal growth. So I'll have enough to make, this would be my bomb making corner. I know that sounds horrible, but that's what it is. Over here we will have stuff for repairs. So quartzite, probably 2 boxes, maybe 1. I'll do what is it? Sap to fix any lights, because there's gonna be lights down low. That's one thing I did not finish, and I'll get that in a second. So we'll have sap, we'll have things like that. We'll have sprigs, crude rope, different things that you would need for repairs, as well as just healing smoothies, maybe some water, some food. And just a few other things, whatever else you want to put in there. And then, like I said, a box at the end of the bed here will be full of gas masks. Because where I have that base position is right next to where the little guy spawned. Now, on this, the reason this is down here, you probably already guessed it, is for me to do a bunch of lights on it. The more lights you have, the brighter it is. In theory. And then at the corners, I will also have a light, because I have seen where I put some mushrooms. You saw the mushrooms that I had on the ground underneath my real like survival base of this, and it was just bringing in weevils from across the yard. But I may actually build an actual like legit trap for that. See, now where we're decently lit, it's not like stupid bright, but it's close. And I'm not done yet because, yeah, reasons. So yeah, do work at night. I do hunt weevils at night, the exploding ones anyway, because they glow. The little tops of them do. And at night, running around the haze, other than the guys that I can't see on the ground, the lawn mite, infected lawn mites, whether it's day or night, I can't really see them. And the weevils, there's nothing else in there to really bother you. So it's not something you have to worry about as far as, being attacked by wandering this or wandering that. Yes, there are ants in there, but it's just a worker ants. They're not gonna bother you. Now, I'd probably add a few more lights underneath here. I may not go as much as I did up top, but knowing me, I probably will do the exact same and just have way too many lights over here. And actually, from the looks of it, this looks like about all I would need is just the ones in the corners and then these right here. And from what I can tell, my square is not centered. So that is one thing you definitely need to check. I did not check that 100%, and I will fix it. This X underneath the center is not placed correctly. The armor dummy feet above pointed that out to me, because that's the line we want right there. So that's one thing to pay attention to, is make sure you're lining things up correctly before you build them, so you don't make mistakes like this. Because in the real game, that costs you supplies. Or the survival aspect of the game. So now we have that is straight on with that corner. That one is straight on with that corner. That's what I should have done when I first laid it out, was to check to make sure that I was straight on with the corners. Sometimes precision, it just requires first person. Okay, now that that's properly positioned, so it's still dark under here, but it gives you something to see underneath here. But like I said, I would have either bounce webs or a way up onto the rocks and then onto a bridge to get into this base. And you see it's quite bright in here. Also has its really dark spots in the corners, but that's okay. Like I said, that's what these guys do. They're basically like a floodlight, just pointing in one direction. So that is the little base that I built in my Haze. I'm not quite finished with it as far as the details, but the base itself is done, and we'll go back to creative now. I'm sorry, back to the live game, just so I can show exactly what I was talking about with some of the stuffs. Give me a second, let me reload that. I'll go ahead and pause while I do this. Alright, so I'm back in the Haze. I've got my gas mask on. I've got my back in survival. Like I said, I have a repair tool on this building because an exploding weevil likes to spawn right up here, and he charges straight to the building and does damage to this corner, which I have repaired. Or he'll charge up and damage the walkway area. I have another one set up to go right here as well, for the exact same reason. There's a exploding weevil that spawns here, and he charges. This tower is 15 stories tall. You see 2 windows and a solid wall, 2 windows and a solid wall. That's for the aesthetics, because I like the way it looks. It's obviously cheaper just to go with windows the whole way up, like I have in the video that's linked in the description below. That is the hexagon design, by the way. And then I'm still working on my boxes, you see. Still working on the armor dummies. I haven't put the lights in yet. I may not do as many lights as I did in creative. I still haven't put these boxes in. I still have a little bit of work to do. I still do handrails. And then underneath, same thing, more lights. But these mushrooms on the ground are drawing in normal weevils, which are bringing in ants. Which I don't have a problem with. But the nice thing about this is, I'll bring up my map. As you see, I'm basically straight west of the Peach Fuzz Puncho. Right up against this rock. You'll notice right in front of the rock is these 2 different mushrooms, one short, one tall, and then there's a few more right over here. I found out while I was building, this is a spawn location for exploding weevils, and this base is here to farm fungal growth. So I basically have my base put right next to the spawn location of 3 wandering exploding weevils here. I've got some that spawn up on the rocks back here in the back, one on this rock, one on that rock, one down the ground next to this rock that for whatever reason is always stuck. He's typically right down there in the mud at the edge of the rock. There's one that spawns on the rock where the tower is, and there's one that spawns back here. So for fungal growth, I actually, without realizing it, picked probably one of the better spots to build my base. And so I just want to go through that. I know Queenie Boo asked me for a build video of this, and I knew it would be a short video because this is not a very big intensive build, unlike Pink Base, which I eventually will get that video done. I'll probably work on that tomorrow. But if you guys like this content and would like to see more like it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button and turn on the bell for notifications. And until the next video, y'all have a good one.